Ben, the scrum half, feeds the ball into the scrum. The scrum then kicks it out the back. Ben reveals the ball and rips it down the line to Griffin. Griffin tosses it to Iggy. Iggy sucks in the defenders and dumps it off to Griffin circling around. Griffin shoots it to Kevin. Kevin races down the sideline, leaving nothing but dust in his path. They cannot catch him. He places the ball down and scores the try.
Have you ever wondered what the best sport is?
Imagine a mix between football without pads and soccer.
Welcome to our how-to rugby video where we'll show you the basics of the game of rugby.
First off, before we get into the game, you're going to need a couple of things.
Ideally, you want a game-ready jersey, but if you don't have that, an old stretchy shirt would work. Here's what happens when you don't have one.
You're also going to want a pair of ruggers, or a short pair of strong shorts, a pair of cleats, and a mouth guard. Getting good at tackling is a cheat code to getting more minutes. You don't have to be good on offense, but if you suck on offense and defense, then you just suck.
When tackling, you want to keep it low and wrap the legs below the waist. Nothing above the waist, otherwise you will get penalized.
In rugby, you can only pass the ball laterally or backwards. Passing the ball forward will result in a turnover to the other team.
When passing the ball, it is crucial to keep in mind your timing and positioning to the other players around you. Ideally, when passing the ball, you would like to have a 5x5 space in between you and the next person in a diagonal line.
Left, left, left. Left, left, left.
Tamua Beal out the back is Falau and he gives it to Halapeni. Hodge! Inside it goes! What a try, Wallabies!
Passing the ball early can result in setting your teammate up to be tackled early on. Passing the ball too late can result in feeding it to the other team and losing possession.
Before we get into anything, let's get a quick intro on the positions. Jerseys 1 through 8 are for the big guys. These are the guys that participate in the scrum, but we'll touch more on that later. These players are more or less the same except the number 2. This is the hooker. He plays footsies during the scrums and throws the ball in on lineouts. Jerseys 9 through 15 are for the skinny fast guys that pass the ball around and spread the field out. Some of them have more responsibilities than others though, like number 9. This is the scrum half. This is the player that distributes the ball after a scrum and a ruck. Number 10 is the fly half. Typically, this is the team's most skilled player, and he distributes the ball in the open field, almost like a point guard in basketball. The game starts with a kickoff like in football, except it's a drop kick. The teams line up on opposing sides of the field, and one kicks to the other. Now, when a tackle is made, the other players on your team must complete a ruck over their down teammate. This is because when you get tackled, you must release the ball, and this means the other team can take it, but only by walking over the down player. By rucking, your teammates are essentially putting a body between the ball and the other team to prolong your possession of the ball.
If the ball or player is forced out of bounds, this will start a lineout. Both teams create lines of 3 to 4 players called props. These props will prop the lifter in the air while the hooker throws the ball down the middle of these 2 lines. The lifter will catch the ball in midair while the opposing lifter tries to steal it. Once the ball is caught, it will be thrown out to the scrum half who dishes it back into play, thus creating a lineout.
Whenever a penalty is called on the opposing team for any reason, the other team chooses how they want the ball. They can either drop kick it, or they can call for a scrum. Now, the scrum is a dogfight between the 8 biggest guys on the field in which they lock together, forming a plow shape, and bash into the other team. The ball is fed in through the side, and they push forward until the ball comes out on the other end, at which point the scrum half can retrieve it and sling it out to the skinnies. The most important part, though, is scoring. Touching the ball down on the ground past the line is called a try, which is worth 5 points. This is then followed by a kick, worth 2 points.
And that's how you play one of the best sports in the world. If you're interested in seeing how this works in person, then be sure to check out the Blackhearts rugby games next season at Sterling Field on weekends.